So there's still people joining, so I'll just give it a few, just one more minute, and then we can start. I'm also syncing the YouTube here, so just give it a second or two. So there's still people joining, so I'll just give it a few, just one more minute, and then we can start. I think we can start. I'm also syncing the YouTube here. So just put the YouTube on mute because I'm hearing myself twice. Great. So thank you everyone for joining to the first edition of Icebreakers. So a new format when we invite startup members from the TQ community to present their businesses to our network. So startups, partners, investors, stakeholders from across the network. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hugo Paquin. I'm responsible for startup and partner relations at TechQuartier. I will be the one moderating the session today. Perhaps you're asking yourself why Icebreakers. So two main reasons. The first is basically to do that, so break the ice between members and connect the dots. Many startups join our network to gain visibility, connect with peers and potential partners. We typically do this by introducing them via Slack, including them in our various newsletters, adding them to our member wall, etc. But most of the time, these introductions are quite generic, plus you don't get a sense of who the founder is. So providing a video format and 5 minutes to present, it's not only much more detailed and in-depth, but it's also much more personal. The second is obviously the COVID situation. So that makes it quite hard for us at TechQuartier to organize large-scale in-person networking events. This is one of the triggers that made us come up with an online formula. Not only for networking, but also for other formats like meetups and programs. Considering the very positive response that we've gotten, so we've had about 10 partners and over 40 startups now. So I think this won't be just a Corona time only event. We'll certainly keep organizing these networking for members in the future. Quite honestly, we probably should have started a long time ago. So that's for the background info. So now maybe a little bit of information about how this will be organized. So we have six founders with us today. Professor Philipp Brune from QWICS, Alicia and Victor from BrainCloud, Alexander and Marco from Audeamus Risk, Marco Fürstenberg from Fürst Solutions, Johannes Noll from Codario, and Stefan Sprenger from DataCater. So all of them will be given 5 minutes to present. Because we have 6 of them presenting, we'll try to be mindful of the time. So whenever we hear we hit the 5-minute mark, I will potentially interrupt them with a reggae sound horn. So this should be telling you that you need to wrap it up because we want to keep this to fit in a 1-hour block. So yeah. Now for the participants, perhaps if you have questions, it's important to have them listed in the chat. We won't have time for a large Q&A, so it's probably to keep them coming just as we go along. Again, please just enter your questions there, and if we have time, I'll pick 1 or 2, perhaps the most popular one, or I'll just select them and ask them after the pitch from each startup. If you're interested to connect with them directly, I will also post a contact form in the chat. So you can simply enter your email there, say who you want to connect with, and then we can organize a private one-on-one after the session. That's about it for the ground rules. So pretty simple. So I guess we get started. So the first up is QWICS. Philip, now you can share your screen, and I start the timer, and the floor is yours. You have to unmute yourself. Yes. You're unmuted.
Can you hear me? Yes, wonderful.
Yes.
Yes, great. Okay, thanks a lot for the kind introduction and also for organizing this event. I think it's a great format, and I'm very curious to learn more about also the other startups and everyone else. So if you want to connect with me, my contact data is also here on the slide. My name is Philipp Brune, as Hugo already said. I'm the founder of QWICS, which is a startup that also is built around an open source framework that I developed, which is also called QWICS. And it actually intends to help corporates, to help especially companies from the financial services and banking scene to modernize and also to develop new platforms, new IT software platforms for the future of banking. And okay, let's sit here. So basically the challenge that we want to tackle, to address is the digital transformation. That is a big thing in all companies, and especially, of course, in the financial services area. This is the result from a 2019 study by Deloitte showing what are the biggest challenges to managers, perceived challenges in the financial services industry. And you can see that it's, first of all, create digital capability, and second, to modernize legacy systems. And this is interesting because it basically shows that these two things are interrelated, because the inflexibility of monolithic legacy applications, especially in the financial services industry, typically kind of slow down or prohibit creating digital capabilities, creating digital services, or make it more expensive and more difficult. And this is actually the thing that I want to tackle with QWICS. To my impression, the potentials of blockchain and distributed ledger technology have not been really explored so far with respect to the question of how to modernize the existing banking IT. And actually, there has been a lot of work done in the field of new things like cryptocurrencies and blockchain pilot implementations and so on. But what still is really lacking is bringing these technologies to the actual core of the banking IT, where we still have the legacy systems that are doing the everyday core business. And so there's a huge potential for moving new things in this world, combining it with the challenge of legacy systems modernization. And this is what QWICS tries to address. We basically have two software products. One is the framework, which is actually open source and is a platform for helping to modernize to large-scale enterprise applications written in, especially in the COBOL language, by bringing them in an open source environment that actually is based on Java and JavaScript and new technologies, without dropping the old kind of traditional values that are implemented in these applications. So this addresses a current challenge. Maybe you have also read that there is this big issue in New Jersey that made it to the mass media in the last weeks, that they now, during Corona crisis, have the problem that they cannot handle the unemployment applications accordingly, because they have a large lack of developers for legacy systems. And I think that this shows very nicely that these issues are of a huge relevance, not only to certain industries, but to society in total, and need to be addressed. And this is what we want to follow. The other thing is QWICS Chain, which is actually we call it a legacy-friendly blockchain implementation that I mainly developed, that is actually heading for providing an integration layer on top of existing systems to integrate banks in a more decentralized manner with their partners, with their corporate clients, with multiple partners, with other banks, with everything that is, or everyone who is interacting in this space along the business processes. And so this solution is intended to be a blockchain platform, a private permission blockchain platform that helps to build in a more flexible way financial instruments, financial products on top of a blockchain approach, combined with the question, okay, can we integrate this with the traditional enterprise applications, be it COBOL, be it mainframe, or be it something like SimCorp Dimension or any other kind of standard piece of software or commercial off-the-shelf software. So that is the basic setting that we're heading for. The focus so far was mainly on investment banking, because I think that is a field where blockchain integration could help, because we have complex products, we have complex processes, and we have not so many kind of small number, we have a comparably small number of transactions in many fields, so that the blockchain is maybe a right technology that we can provide using smart contracts, the flexibility required. So what is our unique selling proposition? So this is a completely new approach in that sense that it is made in Germany, that it is open source based, that it is focusing on the enterprise world, something that is hard to find among startups and fintechs typically, because they don't have this, the background and the knowledge from the enterprise application, enterprise computing side, which I am actually bringing in. And on the other hand, this is heading for building a solution that is fully integratable, that provides all these process features and can be used as a software as a service solution. So technically,
we're out of time.
Yeah,
so
great.
I hope you didn't.
This is the last slide, so it's perfect. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
thanks a lot for attending, and it was a pleasure to present.
Super, thank you. I actually have one question. It's a bit of a broader than more specific to your own business, but you should have a nice point of view. What's the adoption rate right now of blockchain technologies in banks? So when you approach potential customers in the banking industry, what kind of response are you getting? Are they currently adopting and implementing those solutions, or is it still more of a kind of project and you know, that it's more in the back office that they're thinking about blockchain but not really in tangible application? Like, where are we in maturity wise?
Actually, that's a good question, and I must say that I think the banks have not really started to adopt these things in a serious way. They made pilots and trials, as I showed on the one slide here. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Here, so I think blockchain has so far stayed mainly in this kind of playground world, this sandbox world. And if I talk to banks, they are all say, well, interesting technology, but at the moment we don't know. And so this is still something that needs to be kind of become more mature, more serious to be really used. What currently is our focus is more that corner here, because there is demand, especially now in the crisis. And I talk to companies and they are starting to get interested in that, and I think this is a good starting point, and then we can move on to really say, okay, now we addressing this modularizing applications, and now we can try to think about modern distributed integration layers as well. So I would say that blockchain is just in its early stage, and to my impression, there is interest, but there's a lot of uncertainty, and they're still looking for the real business case. And what we try is to provide another view on blockchain that is not so much focused on crypto and tokenized assets, but more on the way how business processes are implemented, and that it could be helpful there as well. Okay,
great. Thanks for your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Now, if you can just unshare your screen,
yes, sure,
we'll jump to the second presenters. So Alicia von Schenk and Victor Klockman, who are both the founders of Brain Cloud AI. So a new member at TechPort. I'm very happy to have them on board. So if you can just share your screen now, the floor is yours whenever you're ready. You need to unmute as well. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so thanks for having us here. We are Brain Cloud, and our vision is bringing ideas to life. So what we do is we offer an artificially intelligent solution to create networks and to match ideas. And Brain Cloud can help you to find out who fits best to your ideas or projects, and who in your organization is working on which topics and with whom you should actually get in touch. So who are we? We are both PhD candidates in economics at Goethe University Frankfurt. Our background is more from quantitative economics and also from mathematics. And our common mission, I would say, is to foster efficient research and development. You probably all know this problem that you have great ideas, but you just don't have the time to realize them all. Or you have projects in mind where you can only achieve something together with others, for instance, because you need different expertise. Or maybe more recently, the coronavirus pandemic kept you from meeting and forming teams together and meet up in person and to find a productive team. So what's our solution? Our solution is a machine learning algorithm with which we create networks to combine your ideas with those of your colleagues. Our approach here is what is called LDA topic modeling. This is an intelligent textual analysis. So in particular, you can think of any idea consisting of multiple topics in different proportions, where a topic is a cluster of words with similar meanings. And machine learning is able to capture this intuition in a mathematical framework. So what our algorithm then does, that we programmed ourselves, is it finds dominant topics in all ideas that we collect, and then builds matches based on different clustering techniques. So the result is quite similar to a dating agency. You get a suitable partner for your idea within your institution. So when an institution now decides to use BrainCloud, what we do is we provide them with a unique code. And with this code, the employees or users can register on our website. Everything is browser-based. On our website, you can submit one idea or two or even more. What we then do is we collect several ideas within the institution over a certain period of time. Then our algorithm comes in, and every user or every employee receives a personalized idea report. In this idea report, the employee also gets matched with like-minded colleagues who work on similar projects or similar topics. Then they can get together and they can finally bring their ideas to life. Who's our target group? So primarily, we are targeting universities and academia, because here we want to help to connect research ideas. There are 322 universities in Germany. There are about 1,000 public research institutions. So in general, we have a huge target group of 150,000 academic employees in these universities, and they also have a huge budget. And at the moment, we are in contact with Goethe University Frankfurt for implementing our tool. But this is not the only part. We are also interested in companies and in public institutions. And here, BrainCloud can support the efficient formation of teams. And only very recently, we also had a pilot together with TechBudget in the context of tech talents. For sure, we have competitors. So there are many companies who offer any sorts of platforms or software relating to idea management. But why are we unique, or what makes us different from our competitors? So first of all, we have an AI-based approach. This means that we can really handle huge amounts of data very efficiently. What is also important, that with minimal effort and also very short time, users can find colleagues on our website by submitting their ideas who are interested in similar topics. And they get a better overview who in their organization works on what project, which is not that easy, in particular in large organizations. And teams and co-authorships can emerge across disciplines and positions. So this means that every employee, regardless of his or her department or regardless of the hierarchical level, gets the opportunity to make an own contribution. So finally, coming to our business model, for sure we offer a free trial version where the company can use our tool once. There's a 1 month access. For instance, the company can use it to match ideas in the context of one search and campaign. Then we have a plan for small and for large organizations. Here, the pricing is based on the cost that we have, because we built the whole infrastructure on Amazon Web Services, and we need to pay the database and so on. So we have different pricing for small and large organizations. And following a request of Goethe University, we also want to offer that for large organizations, they can migrate the database on their own service if they want to comply with certain privacy regulations of public institutions beyond the DSGVOs. Thanks. Okay, so I think that's all we have. This is again our contact, and we're really looking forward to get to know the TechBudget community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
4:54, so I didn't get to use my reggae horn. A bit disappointed. Good job on the timing. Yeah, I guess a simple question, but what are you expecting or looking for in terms of the community? You know, are you looking to add collaborators? Are you currently looking for organizations to sell to or to do POCs, perhaps? Like, what are your sort of next steps when it comes to building the company?
So we have practical next steps to do. For instance, the privacy policy. There we need some legal advice how to handle this stuff. So this is one of the top things that we have to do currently. And we are also looking for contact to potential customers, maybe also to other universities in the Rhine-Main area. So far we only
companies.
Yeah, and also companies. So far we only ran the pilot with Tech Talents, and we are in contact with Goethe University because this is where we are located right now. Therefore the contact there was easy, but for, let's say, third parties, it would be great for us to get more contact.
Okay, great. We have some questions here. So Philip was asking unsupervised learning. You're using unsupervised learning,
Yes.
or if not, how do you get the training data?
Yeah, so we use unsupervised learning. We so our algorithm finds in the data that which are the ideas that the people submit. There we find the topics, and then we build clusters, and everything's unsupervised.
Yeah, so it's a mixture of a standard textual analysis program together with some clustering techniques to find similar topics, but it's everything unsupervised, and we just use the text that is given in the certain idea. So we just need the text, and the idea can be entered on our website, just like plain text, or you can also make bullet points, but it's just your idea that we use. And we collect all these ideas within the institution to apply our algorithm. Okay. Then another question from Louis Schurner. You have a use case with a small organization? Because I just thought that with 200 people, it could take years to match an idea. Great pitch. So I was also wondering about the kind of ideal size of organization. So you need to have a certain probably threshold to get enough data. And to his point, like, how does it work when you have 200 people, for instance? Yeah, so for sure, the more data we have, the better the matching gets. But we did the pilot with, I think, 50 people now, and it worked quite well because we had the point that the ideas were to specific topics. So for instance, the topics were health, industry, and education. So if you already have some sort of a more precise topic where the ideas can be submitted to, it's also fine to match ideas even with small number of observations or a small number of ideas. But for sure, for large organizations, it's much easier because the machine learning gets better the more data it has. That's clear. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. So the next up is Alexander Kovacevic from Audeamus Risk. So Alicia, you can unshare, and then Alexander, you take over. Okay. We can hear you, and you just need to share, and we're good to go.
Okay, can you see this? Yeah.
We can. Yep. So the
all right. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much for presenting this opportunity, TechQuartier. We are Australian-based first operational risk intelligence platform. As you know, the world has seen quite a lot of changes in recent times. Credit risk and market risk appear to be under control. And quite often institutions know more about their clients than the client themselves. However, the operational risk has always been a problem, and people are using various models to quantify that risk. So what we do, we are the first company, we believe, that operates at the convergence of finance industry and business continuity management. And we cover both fintech, insurtech, subtech, and regtech domain because we are exclusively focusing on operational risk. So far, we have received quite a lot of recognition in London, Singapore, Germany, and all over the world. Basically, why do we exist? There are critical problems. Firstly, there are a number of emerging risks. So beside these natural catastrophes, they're typically modeled through stochastic modeling and Monte Carlo simulations. New risks are impossible to price. So what we decided to do is to look on the other side, which is the resilience. And 5 years ago, that information wasn't available, but currently is, and can be calculated to see how much dollar value or impact is going to be per particular time frame, and what's the long tail risk as well. And obviously, all this causes a business interruption, and it's been identified as one of the top 2 or 3 causes of losses. Also, what we're solving is the communication gap, and that is that the data from operational risk is not communicated properly, as we've seen in this example in Italy, for instance. And obviously, there are a number of unknowns where you really cannot price it because of impossible to find the data for that. So we had the bushfires in Australia, tornado that followed, and now global pandemics. Only a few months ago, people would think this is a schizophrenic idea, but we now see it's a reality. We know that the protection gap has never been greater, and the trust between, let's say, insurers and insured never been lower. There is a problem with the gap of 435 days cumulative delay in mitigating this. We know that the auditors are unable to really identify that risks that the banks and the insurers are exposed, and they're obviously causing a lot of grief and penalties around the world, of more than $500 billion. What our delta is, as I said, we are focusing on real-time data based at source, so it can be compared to the blood test or blood sample. So it is what it is. You can model that only if you have the data, but we are really focusing on the real information. I'm happy to elaborate more if anyone is interested. We are using, as we have seen from previous presenters, a sophisticated advanced machine learning AI. Obviously, that depends on the amount of data, because data in data sort of, if it's poor quality data, then you have a garbage in, garbage out. So we do some curation of that. We provide also dynamic pricing through blockchain or smart contracts, and that actually results in much better decision making. There are a lot of applications that can be also used for Basel III, for capital release transaction, better management of your balance sheet, and in insurance, it provides also a parametric definitions for much clearer policies, and also the banks can benefit from defining their own policies as well. As I said, it's suitable for across the range of industries. This is an example screenshot from our system. It can be used for banks. For instance, they can deploy special sensors or IoT devices to monitor your exposure in real time for cyber or any other. Same thing applies for the airport, for drone protection, for instance, so you can add details and monitor in real time. The benefits of our platform are tremendous because it provides savings, and as I said, it's advanced pricing, so there's no guesses. We provide licensing through white label, and we earn money only if we provide value to the customer. If we don't provide value, we don't get paid. The market size is huge. It's over 1 trillion and more, and we are focusing now on Europe as well. So that's why we are talking to you. Thank you. It's five minutes exactly.
Yeah, I also was going to say, so good job. Great. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat. I don't see one right now. Maybe the same question as I asked to Alicia there. So in terms of your objectives within the community right now, what are the next step for Audeamus Risk, and what kind of collaborators are you looking for?
Well, it's very straightforward. We know that the data already exists. Major banks, any prudential regulated entity, or any insurer or bank will actually have that data, either their own data or data from their own clients. So we would like to work with that and provide a value from that perspective. So that will hopefully be quantifiable in a couple of weeks. It's not a really a rocket science, really. It's a very pragmatic approach that we have, dealing with the data they already have that has not been used properly, perhaps, or the data quality hasn't been evaluated. So that's the one thing, and the other is also partnering with potentially with other startups to see if we can have some synergies, and how we could make a better products and better world in general.
And your industries of expertise is it the banking industry? I also saw you worked with airports, or you gave an example of an airport. So are you cross-industry, or are you focusing on the banking vertical?
Yeah, thank you. That's an excellent question. Look, my background is banking and finance, and obviously it's a natural thing to focus on that industry. However, we are industry agnostic, and that information can really be extracted from any organization. It could be a health institution, it could be airport infrastructure. We've seen a lot of interest from infrastructure organizations, because obviously, especially critical infrastructure. So this is something that we'd be keen to work with as well. It's not only banking and finance, it's just, as I said, natural extension of personal experience here. Okay. And Marco as well, that is now currently, Marco is on a webinar, is our representative here in Europe. Okay. He's based in Germany and covers Switzerland and Austria and so on. So, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for your pitch. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Moving on now, startup number 4, Marco Fürstenberg. I hope I pronounced that right. CEO of Fürst Solutions GmbH.
Solutions, yeah. Fürstenberg.
There's a umlaut on the U, so is it Fürst Solutions?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a trick.
German's improving.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So also from my side, thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. So I'd like to tell you a little about Fürst Solutions, what we do. We're a bunch of medical engineers and a business development consultant who work together with startups and organizations in different countries in Africa. And what we do is we take their turnkey projects and we try to turn them, or we turn them into sustainable businesses. So we've got a passion for providing European services in these developing countries. And we do this in the form of consulting or with education and a lot of technical support as well. What we basically do is we're an extended arm of many European companies who try to build up their businesses in Africa. For example, we have a very strong connection in the medical field. We built one of the first privately owned dialysis units in Sierra Leone. And along with this, we have a few other projects in countries like Senegal and Cameroon, just to name a few. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the products that we provide. We've got basically 2 main groups that we work in. The first one is called medical solutions, if you like. What we do here is we provide installation services, maintenance contracts, and we do trainings and workshops for the local markets. And a big part of it is also providing consulting when they've got new products in the medical field. Then from the management consultancy side, this is the more about project management side. Here we do development of leadership and management, more on the top level of different companies. We also have organizational management, if the guys want to change the structure that they have in their companies. And sometimes we do focused work more on specific projects inside these companies in Africa. And just to show you who the team is, so there's me on the left. I'm part of the team that works a lot with the medical solution side. We have Ileana. She takes care of the consulting side. She's the business developer. And the 2 of us are sitting at DataCater since, I think 2 weeks ago we started there, something like this, quite new. And then there's Rosanne. Rosanne is in Düsseldorf. She's the glue that holds our team together. She coordinates all of us a little, doing all the administration stuff. And then I have another medical engineer his name is Dani. Dani sits in South Africa and he flies to the countries when we need him all over Africa. So that's it. If you need anything in Africa, then we're the guys to talk to. And I think I made it in faster than 5 minutes.
Short and sweet. Good job. Thank you. No questions yet in the chat, but maybe one question from my side. So how big is that market, the number of German firms doing business in Africa? And you have some sort of figure or just...
It's difficult to say because when they're doing market analysis, they usually look at very small sectors. So we're very active in the medical field, specifically in the dialysis region, and the dialysis market in Africa is booming. There are very few players who are active in Africa. The problem is when you're doing medical equipment, you have to work with local support, and the supporting structures in the countries are not that built up. So you cannot pinpoint it specifically on just on the dialysis market. So it's difficult to say.
And maybe more out of curiosity, but how has the COVID situation impacted your business? I mean, you're based in Frankfurt now. Are you stranded here? Can you?
I'm stranded. Yeah, it's a big issue. A lot of the services we provide, I would do training with the local people. This has all changed to online training, for example. The installations have come to a stop because we're not allowed to travel. all these projects have been postponed. This is a big issue because, especially in the dialysis field, dialysis is one of the treatments in the end stage of the corona problem. So the dialysis market is booming. Everyone is buying machines, and there's no one to do the installation for these machines in Africa. So work is building up, and as soon as the borders open again, I'll probably not be here for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I understand. There's a question here from Tat. How's your revenue model? Do you get revenue directly from companies or from the health insurance?
From the companies. What the companies do is they try to extend their business in Africa, and they need a local supporting system when they do this. And this is the service that we provide. For example, you're trying to sell your product in the African market, but you don't have anyone locally available to promote your product or to sell your product or to do the installations of these machines, for example. So what we do is we take the knowledge from Europe and we go to the local markets, and then we apply this knowledge there and help them build up their companies or their ideas so that they can provide the service locally.
Okay, great. Thank you, Marco. Very instructive. So thanks for taking the time today to present.
Thank you.
Moving along now. I don't know if Johannes, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, super. All right. So Johannes Noll, CEO from Codario. Whenever you're ready, you can share your screen. And
okay. So does everyone see my screen? Who does it work?
It says that you have started sharing your screen, but it's black.
So, okay.
Yeah, now it works.
Now you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, my name is Johannes Noll. I'm one of the founders of Codario. Hugo and TechQuartier, thank you that you invited us. Our slogan is open source security made easy. So we help software developers to use open source in a secure way. So everyone who's developing software, could be a mobile app or also web application, we help them to do it in a secure way. I'm starting with a problem. What did we figure out? I make it an example with Lenovo. Lenovo is a big corporate. They got a website and they use an open source content management system. It's called Drupal, and they didn't update it. You can imagine it similar to WhatsApp. You should update WhatsApp every month or better every week. And Lenovo missed to update their Drupal. And by that, all their website visitors got affected by a crypto miner because they didn't use the latest version. And the effects are then clear, like loss of user data, for example, or they lose their whole server, for example, and could be stolen some other information, or illegal information could be stored on their server. So it's a financial and economic risk for the company. Why is now the time to look into it? It's getting worse because all the developers are using open source. Who, do you hear me?
Yes, it works.
Oh, okay, because I was just getting a notice. It's getting worse, but because all the software developers are using open source right now, and they will use in the future even more. And the developers are using or taking on the security right now. Of course, it would be better if they would have done it 3 years ago, but they didn't do it because the product owner says, okay, do features, and at the end, put a little bit security on top of it. But the minds of the people changed. That's why now is a good time to get into the market. And our solution is software as a service for B2B. So software developers can put their so-called Dropbox or the Git repository on our platform. We then monitor their software code and their open source components, and then also do automated updates for the dependencies or for their open source components. So at the end, it should be for them as easy as sending an email instead of doing a lot of manual stuff and checking at different sources for the open source components and the vulnerabilities which are in it. The value proposition of our solution is twofolded. On the one hand, it's security, because our solution monitors all their components 24/7 and then informs the developer about new updates and new vulnerabilities. On a manual base, the software developers, they can't do it by themselves. And the second thing is that the efficiency is much higher with Codario. For example, a digital agency from Netherlands, without our solution, they spend 60 hours per month for all their projects, and with Codario, they just need 6 hours per month. Here you see two screenshots of our product. For example, here, this part is one project, and then our platform says, okay, your project right now has vulnerabilities, and in the next screen, then you see, okay, you had 16 packages with vulnerabilities, and you see a label if the risk is low or high, and then our platform after that creates a task and automates these updates for a software developer, including or integrated in their workflows. That are our customer segments. So we have three customer segments. We have very small companies like startups and individuals with less than 20 employees. And the next segment are medium and small organizations up to 100 full-time employees. For example, digital agencies or universities are in this segment. And besides that, we also have large organizations like an American corporate like Trimble. Their office from Helsinki contacted us, or also the European Commission, they use our product. Yeah, at the end, some statements of our customer testimonials of our customers. So we are not just for small or medium-sized enterprises. Every developer at the end can use our solution. The onboarding is very fast, so everyone can easily try it out with a free trial. And later on, we have a subscription model per account. So you pay per month, or you sign a contract for 6, 12, or 24 months for our platform. Yeah, I think I was a little bit too fast. That's already the last slide. Thank you.
No, it was not too fast. Perfect.
Okay.
What are your biggest challenges at the moment, and where would you see TQ members supporting, perhaps?
Sorry, I didn't get the last part of the question.
I was saying, what are your biggest challenges at the moment, and where would community members perhaps provide a solution?
Mm-hmm. Right now, we are looking into two topics. Of course, funding is one part, and the second part is scaling sales and marketing right now. Of course, we won some clients already, but now we are looking for an approach to reach more people at the same time and to, yeah, do processes more efficient than before.
Okay, cool. And you, so your solution essentially maps the risk and the potential breaches associated to code. Do you help solve those breaches, or are you also acting as a consultant and perhaps like technical support?
We don't provide a consultancy service in general. Of course, we have our support for our customers, but the support helps them to understand how they can react on the vulnerabilities, and we automate the updates for it. What we don't do is we don't provide solutions for these vulnerabilities ourselves. That's what maintainers of open source components do. Okay. So there's a public community which is taking care of fixing these vulnerabilities. And
so the more customers you have, are you building like a knowledge base that actually it helps in improving the solution? Yeah, exactly. Until today, we focus on monitoring and update automation, but in the future, we will also do automated patching. And that's an important point, that we have more people using our platform, because on their decisions they make on the platform, we have prediction if a new update will break the web application of a customer in the future. And yeah, that's the ultimate goal at the end. Okay, great. Thanks, Johannes. So that was a pretty clear and straightforward pitch. So thank you. Yeah. All right, so we're down to the last startup now, DataCater. We have the CEO, Stefan Sprenger, on the line. Stefan, can you hear me? I cannot hear you though.
Okay, I just had to unmute myself. I guess
now we can hear you and see the slides. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to present here. I'm Stefan, co-founder of DataCater. We're building a no-code data pipeline platform to make data preparation for machine learning and analytics more efficient. To maybe give you some more context, data pipelines are used to prepare data for downstream analytics, such as a machine learning model, a visualization dashboard, data warehouse systems, and other applications. These data pipelines are typically implemented in software code. They extract raw data from data sources, then transform the raw data into a format suitable for the downstream analytics, get rid of errors, clean the data, enrich the data, and eventually publish the prepared data to the data sinks and the downstream usages of the data. The current state of data preparation is quite inefficient, which is why we're hugely unsatisfied and want to improve that. So data preparation involves lots of manual tasks, lots of repetitive work, leading to a situation where data experts spend around 70–80% of their time on preparing the data before they can actually make use of it. So they lose lots of time. Second, the current code-based approach to data preparation ignores the fact that many people that have the domain knowledge about data are coming from the business side. So they're used to working with tools like Excel, but don't have a technical background, don't know how to implement high quality Python data pipelines. So they're not able to perform data preparation themselves, but must rely on the tech people. We are following a different approach to data preparation. We're building a no-code platform. We provide our pipeline designer as a visual and interactive means to building data pipelines. Runs in your web browser. You can use it together with your teammates, with your colleagues. And it's as easy to use as changing data in an Excel spreadsheet. The pipeline designer, when building the data pipelines, instantly previews the impact of your transformations on real data from your data sources. So this does not only create full transparency on the impact of your data pipelines, but also allows you to catch accidental side effects or errors in your transformations as early as possible. It integrates a repository of transformation and filter functions. We call them data functions. They cover most needs in data preparation for machine learning and analytics. Of course, there are always situations, always edge cases in the projects where this predefined repository may not fully satisfy your requirements, and then we'd allow you to drop in your own custom transformation functions to tailor the transformations to your needs. Once you build the data pipelines with a pipeline designer, we make sure that your data syncs, that your prepared data is always up to date. So technically, we compile the data pipelines to Kafka Streams applications. They are continuously executed and continuously stream data changes from your data sources to your data sinks and transform them on the way according to your data pipeline. And we can extract, detect change events in your data sources in real time. So typically it takes less than a second from the time the change event happens in the data source until it arrives in the prepared format at the data sink. And when we have a look at other solutions to building data pipelines or ETL pipelines, they're not able to detect which data has changed. So for every run, they have to extract all data, transform all data, which is quite inefficient and wastes resources. Maybe to sum it up before we hit the 5-minute mark, we shall use DataCater for preparing your data. Well, we save you lots of time when building the data pipelines. We provide efficient tools for building data pipelines, also making parts of your data preparation reusable. We achieve a democratization of your data, allow people from the business side to perform high quality data preparation. And also by only transforming and processing the data that has actually changed, we can reduce the resources needed and reduce cost. That's it from our side. I'd be happy to chat data preparation with you, learn more about your challenges, and learn more about the needs of the market in data preparation. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you for your presentation. Same question, I guess now I'm asking the others, but currently, what are your top priorities for your business, and where could you see the TQ network help you?
Sure. We're currently moving into a pilot phase where we roll out the platform. So we both offer a managed installation where we take care of operations, also roll out on-premise installations. We are currently just looking for more usage to learn more about the needs and improve product market fit. So we're looking for some more pilot users right now.
And what's a target user, or who would potentially be the best fit there to test your solution and prepare the data?
Yeah, probably like an analytics team working on machine learning data science projects. I think that we could provide lots of value to them.
Okay, great. I don't know if that would apply to you, Alicia, and the brain AI there, but yeah, so maybe that's one synergy, but otherwise, yeah, I would like to thank all the startups that came to present today. I hope you found this a good exercise, but also I hope that the participants on the call found it useful and informative. I think this was a good first edition. The idea in the beginning was to have this on a monthly basis, but I've already planned two more in the coming month, because startups are coming and they're interested to pitch. So if you're interested to attend, the next one will be on May 28th. We actually have the 5 startups confirmed. So Lofino, Interlutions, RetroMotion, Lampix, and CoinRule. I'm realizing as I'm listing them that this doesn't mean anything to anyone, just startup names, but I will post the descriptions on the Eventbrite so you actually know what they're doing and who will be presenting. So feel free to register for this. If you would like to access the recording, please get in touch with me. And if you want to talk to one of the founders that presented today, I will send a form now in the follow-up, the feedback email right after this call. So again, thank you, everyone. We're just under the hour mark, so pretty pünktlich. So yeah, thanks for everyone for being there, and until next time.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.